She was a warrior of truth, a champion of justice, an unyielding voice against the horror of lynching. Ida B. Wells declared, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them." In a world shrouded in darkness, where the cries of the innocent went unheard, Wells wielded her pen as a weapon, determined to expose the brutal realities faced by African Americans. In the late 19th century, America stood at a crossroads. The Civil War had shattered the nation, but the Reconstruction era failed to deliver on its promise of equality. White supremacists reasserted dominance through violence. The Ku Klux Klan roamed the South, lynching became a grotesque tool of terror. Between 1882 and 1968, over 4,000 black men, women, and children were murdered in public displays of brutality. Wells was born on July 16, 1862, in Holly Springs, Mississippi, to formerly enslaved parents. After losing her own parents to a yellow fever epidemic, she became a guardian for her siblings. Despite the harsh realities of racism, she found strength in education, attending Rust College, where her intellect began to shine. Wells faced dual battles against sexism and racism. She refused to be silenced, channeling her pain into a commitment to social justice. Her career began as a teacher, but her passion for writing soon emerged. After the lynching of her friend Thomas Moss in 1892, she launched a campaign, using her voice to document the brutal realities of lynching. Her pamphlet, Southern Horrors, Lynch Law in All Its Phases, shattered myths propagated by white supremacists who claimed lynching was necessary to control black men. Wells revealed that these acts were rooted in racial terror, not justice. As she traversed the dangers of the Jim Crow South, she risked her life to expose atrocities often cloaked in silence. The backlash was severe. Threats and violence followed her, her home was bombed, yet she refused to retreat. Instead, she rallied the African American community and its allies to confront the horror of lynching head-on. Wells co-founded the NAACP, standing alongside other civil rights leaders, each fight a bold act of defiance against an unjust system. Wells illuminated the darkest corners of America, igniting a movement for truth. Her legacy remains a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit and the relentless pursuit of justice. In 1892, after the lynching of her friends Moss, Calvin McDowell, and Henry Smith, she uncovered lies justifying racial violence with a fierce conviction. Her investigation revealed that many justifications for lynching were fabrications, often rooted in unfounded accusations. Wells's courageous work transcended mere journalism; it was a revolutionary act. She fearlessly spoke across the nation, galvanizing support against the barbarity of lynching and rallying crowds captivated by her powerful oratory. During the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago, Wells boldly challenged the fair's organizers, demanding that the issue of lynching be addressed. Her relentless advocacy led to the establishment of the first anti-lynching organization, fighting to raise awareness. Yet, her path was fraught with danger. She faced death threats and violence but pressed on undeterred. Ida B. Wells became a living testament to resilience, turning her anguish into a movement against the horrors of racial violence. Her legacy inspires generations of activists who continue the fight for racial equality. As we reflect on her life, we must remember her fierce insistence that truth must always come to light. Wells's fervent spirit and unwavering commitment to truth illuminated the path for those who march toward justice even today. Her life was a testament that courage can shatter the walls of hatred. The fight she waged against lynching was a call for justice that transcends time. Today, we witness struggles echoing her demands for justice, with movements confronting systemic racism. The ideals she championed have evolved to meet new contexts. As we grapple with issues of injustice, Wells's teachings encourage collective action across the spectrum of identity. Her legacy is a powerful call for an inclusive struggle, ensuring we honor marginalized voices. We must ask ourselves, what legacy do we wish to leave? Are we active participants in the fight for equality? Each of us can lift our voices, challenging oppressive narratives. The path to justice is demanding; it requires resilience and a commitment to what is right. We must pursue authenticity in our lives, standing firm for justice. As we carry forward her torch, let us harness the power of our voices, refusing to let truth be silenced. The fight may be arduous, but if we remain committed to justice, we can honor Wells's legacy and pave the way for a brighter future. Ida B. Wells teaches us that confronting uncomfortable truths is essential. As we face ongoing issues of injustice, we can transform our communities through the strength of our voices. Let us reflect on how we can echo her spirit in our own lives, actively engaging in the pursuit of justice for all. As the dawn of the 1890s approached, the shadows of despair loomed larger across the southern states. Wells's resolve hardened as she witnessed the gruesome reality of lynching. In the year 1892 alone, a series of brutal killings shook her hometown and the nation. On March 9, Thomas Moss, a successful black businessman and friend of Wells, was lynched without a trial. He was accused of instigating a conflict between black and white residents over the ownership of a grocery store. In the frenzy of racial animosity, the truth was shoved aside, and justice was a mere illusion. Moss's death ignited a fire within Wells, compelling her to delve deeper into the horrific institution of lynching. She gathered testimonies, piecing together the stories of those who had fallen victim to the mob mentality. She found the lives of her people reduced to mere footnotes in a history steeped in racism and violence. She realized she was not merely a witness but a participant in a larger narrative of survival and resilience. On her journeys, she encountered survivors, those who had narrowly escaped death. Each story she collected served as a testament to the grotesque nature of racial hatred. She wrote about the lynching of Henry Smith in Paris, Texas in 1893, where the young man was tortured and burned alive while a crowd cheered. The overwhelming brutality boiled her blood, and her pen flowed with an urgency that demanded attention. Wells's writings were laced with a fierce determination to expose the truth. She stated, "If the white man is not a coward, let him come forward and defend his manhood. If he were truly a man, he would defend the truth, not hide behind lies." These words electrified those who read them, conveying the urgent plea for justice that resonated in the hearts of many. She was not only documenting, she was rallying a collective consciousness, awakening a community to the horrors that seemed accepted in society. In the midst of her activism, Wells faced unimaginable threats. On several occasions, her life hung in the balance. After the publication of The Southern Horrors in 1892, she received multiple death threats, with white supremacists determined to silence her voice. One evening, she returned home to find her house had been bombed. The destruction was a grim reminder of the stakes at play. Yet, in that moment of despair, she found an indomitable spirit that propelled her forward. She recognized that her work transcended personal peril, it was about collective survival. "I am not afraid to speak the truth. Love is not enough unless it is accompanied by action," she articulated in her speeches. Her words ignited hope in a community that had often been rendered voiceless, reminding them that their lives mattered and that their stories deserved to be told. The 1893 World's Fair in Chicago became a pivotal moment in Wells's life. Among the grandeur and celebration, she saw a glaring omission, the absence of any discussion around lynching, the very horror that plagued the African American community. The fair was a chance to showcase American progress, yet it was built on the broken backs of the oppressed. Wells boldly approached the fair's organizers, demanding they acknowledge the brutal history of lynching. Her insistence rattled the foundations of the event, creating an uncomfortable yet necessary dialogue. Wells's attempts to expose the truth were met with overwhelming resistance. The fair's organizers dismissed her requests, fearing the repercussions of publicizing such a contentious issue. In response, she took matters into her own hands. She organized a protest, gathering black leaders and activists to openly denounce the violence against their communities. This act of defiance sent shockwaves through the establishment, calling attention to the hypocrisy of a nation that claimed to be land of the free while perpetuating systemic racism. Her tireless efforts culminated in the formation of the first anti-lynching organization, the Negro Committee of the World's Fair, a direct response to the violence and discrimination that had gone unchallenged for too long. Wells's advocacy laid the groundwork for a movement that would swell over the years, driven by the relentless demand for justice and accountability. In 1894, her courageous writings began to garner national attention. Wells's pamphlets circulated widely, raising awareness of lynching as a national atrocity rather than a local issue. Hers was a voice that cut through the silence, echoing the cries of the oppressed. While she faced criticism and scorn from both white communities and some within her own, she remained unwavering. "The one thing that they cannot take from me, that is mine, is my dignity," she proclaimed, asserting her right to advocate for justice. It was more than just a personal statement, it was a rallying cry for countless others who had been stripped of their dignity through systemic violence. Wells traveled extensively throughout the United States, delivering speeches that captivated audiences with their raw emotion and unyielding truth. Her narrative was not one of despair, but of hope and empowerment, emphasizing the necessity of action. At the National Afro-American Council in 1898, she stated, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. This we will do, as we have done before, with courage and love." Her message resonated deeply, igniting a sense of urgency in listeners who felt powerless. They flocked to her side, ready to join her cause. Wells was not just a voice, she became a beacon of hope, a lighthouse guiding others through the storm of oppression. Despite her remarkable achievements, the road ahead remained fraught with challenges. Even within the growing civil rights movement, Wells faced a struggle for recognition. Many male contemporaries, believing that women should not lead, attempted to overshadow her efforts. Yet, Wells remained resolute. She understood the stakes were too high for her to retreat into silence. In the early 1900s, she continued her advocacy and founded the first Black women's suffrage association, the Alpha Suffrage Club, realizing that the fight for racial equality was intertwined with gender equality. Her journey was not limited to one cause, it was a tapestry woven with threads of justice. In 1910, at the age of 48, Wells became a founding member of the NAACP. The organization, dedicated to fighting for the rights of African Americans, allowed her to collaborate with other activists in a structured approach to combat the injustices of their time. She had forged strong connections with figures like W.E.B. Du Bois, and together they worked tirelessly to dismantle racial inequalities. As the civil rights movement continued to evolve, Wells's legacy became a cornerstone for future generations. She understood that confronting systemic injustice required more than awareness, it demanded action and solidarity. Her efforts inspired a blossoming wave of activists who drew strength from her courage. As she looked toward the future, she embraced a vision of a world where racial equality was no longer a distant dream but a living reality. Ida B. Wells became a living testament to resilience, turning her anguish into a movement against the horrors of racial violence. Her legacy inspires generations of activists who continue the fight for racial equality. As we reflect on her life, we must remember her fierce insistence that truth must always come to light. Wells's fervent spirit and unwavering commitment to truth illuminated the path for those who march toward justice even today. Her life was a testament that courage can shatter the walls of hatred. The fight she waged against lynching was a call for justice that transcends time. Today, we witness struggles echoing her demands for justice, with movements confronting systemic racism. The ideals she championed have evolved to meet new contexts. As we grapple with issues of injustice, Wells's teachings encourage collective action across the spectrum of identity. Her legacy is a powerful call for an inclusive struggle, ensuring we honor marginalized voices. We must ask ourselves, what legacy do we wish to leave? Are we active participants in the fight for equality? Each of us can lift our voices, challenging oppressive narratives. The path to justice is demanding,